Hi everyone!
Hi!
This is our 4th episode of Crafting a Conspiracy, and I have Jenny here with me, and we're going to be talking all about fairies tonight, and about Jenny's amazing crochet work.
Thank you.
So we'll just wait for Rebecca to join in with us, and then we'll get started!
Yay!
Yay! In the meantime, I have some of Jenny's super cute stuff with me. Like this mushroom bag. And then there's this bag that Jenny made. So cute.
Just finished this shawl with
It's
pockets with
amazing.
mushrooms.
It's so cute. And I'm wearing this shawl that Jenny made me. So
Heart's
comfy.
so warm right now.
Okay, so let's just wait for Rebecca to join in. Let's see here. Okay, there's Rebecca. Let's add her in. Okay. Yay!
Hi, Rebecca! Hi, nice to meet you!
Hi, nice to meet you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, your sound is good. Is ours good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yay!
Yay!
Awesome!
Oh, this light's bright.
It is great.
Yeah, it looked like it was really getting me.
Okay, that's good. I'm in
That's
the
better.
basement, so we're not in our
Gotcha.
regular place, so trying to, like, the phone is, like, taped to a chair right now. Oh,
Well, it sounds good and it's working.
okay.
We hear you fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we were just showing some of the stuff that Jenny's made, like my little mushroom bag.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
When Jenny and I first met, we did an art trade and I made her a little plushie and she made me this bag.
Wow.
And by the way, my niece loves that
Oh,
little
so
plushie. She
good.
loves it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Made a little special little witch outfit that she wanted for it. So yeah,
So cute.
that's how. And it's funny. I was following her before we even connected, really, and then she messaged, and then that was it.
Oh,
It was
really?
art together,
Cool.
you know. And Halloween, we love Halloween. We're very
And Jenny consigns at Cosmic Depot, and then I started. So then we were like, we need to do an art trade.
Cool. So do you also live around Bend, or?
I'm actually just outside of Bend in Sun River, and it gets me out of the town. I really like living there, and you can see Mount Bachelor right there. Turn the corner, and I see that, So she's been out to my house. It's just pretty out there.
It's so pretty.
Wow.
Yeah, and it gets you out of. There's a lot of people here now, so it tends to get a little crazy.
It's beautiful.
And I came from a small town before, so I like being out of the hustle and bustle.
Yeah, it's getting pretty crowded there, huh? Yeah.
It really is. A lot.
Well, Rebecca, maybe one of the next times we can all film together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So you're moving here?
We're like near Portland now.
Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking about like if I should have just drove over and like.
That would have been a long drive.
It's okay.
True. The next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Yeah, we should do that. Or just all like get coffee and like draw or something.
That would be so fun.
I haven't drawn in a long time.
Oh.
Jenny and I do craft days, so we could do a crafting day.
Yeah.
That would be super fun.
Learn something new. It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Okay, well, so we're gonna do a little intro about Jenny. So, Jenny is a local artist, and she does amazing, colorful crochet work. And Rebecca has a little bio about her that we're gonna share with you guys.
Oh yeah, let me find that. Here, do like some this or that question.
Okay. Okay, so, okay, you can't look at
Okay,
it.
I'm gonna look.
Okay, this or that, so, would you rather carve pumpkins or make caramel apples?
Carved pumpkins for sure.
Yep.
Halloween
I knew
all the
you
way.
would pick that.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we used to carve pumpkins with my brother
Mm-hmm.
and my son too, and we used get those fake pumpkins
Mm-hmm.
because then you could still have them afterwards, and we just carve
That's
them all
so
out,
cool.
and we just made up so many different ones, and then my brother like one Halloween stacked them all up in a corner in the front of his house, and we glued them all together.
That's so
And it was
cool.
and lit all the way up. Definitely carving pumpkins is my
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
Tell Rebecca about your brother's Halloween.
Oh my gosh,
display.
my brother is incredible. He does. You're like at Disneyland. He makes mechanical skulls that talk. He's built a pirate ship in front of his house completely by scratch, and had a skeleton guy with the elm, the wheel, kind of like he's floating because the ship was broken in his front yard.
That's so cool.
For when he lived here in Bend, every year we would do big. We did one year, we did the Disneyland Haunted Mansion, the Hatbox Ghost. We built the house. I made the outfit for him, and he talked. He did the whole theme in the Haunted Mansion, and we enclosed his whole garage, and they literally, my son and him, stenciled that wallpaper on board to enclose it and have him just in there talking, and had
that is so cool.
I'll have to show you guys these videos.
Yes,
Just,
I've seen a little.
It's kind of sad that we don't do it anymore. He has just moved to Florida, and when he left Bend, it was a little different, and it wasn't the same, unfortunately. But anybody asks me to do something on Halloween, I'm there. I love Halloween. It's so much fun.
Us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot of tricks of building displays, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's so
So
cool.
if anybody ever wanted to display, I could probably figure it out.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Maybe we should build something for Halloween.
Yeah.
That'd be really
I'm on it. Yeah, that would be great. I'll have my brother send me a skull head that talks, and then we can program it.
That would be cool.
Maybe we can do something like that. We could get really in depth.
I would love that.
It would be so fun, though.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a fun question. Would you rather live in a garden cottage or an ancient castle in the woods?
Oh my God, that's so hard.
I know.
I would take the castle and make a garden.
That works. Best of both worlds.
Yeah, I like that spookiness and, Edward Scissorhand look, and I just would love to live in the castle.
That would be perfect.
Bricks and stuff. That would just,
moss and vines.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, yes.
I love that. Okay, would you rather be a witch or a vampire?
I would rather be a vampire because I feel like I would want more time all the time.
Yeah.
I don't need, I already push the limits of my sleep for my work that I do and having a full-time job. So I think I would rather be the vampire. And unfortunately, I have adored every vampire movie out there, down to, Vampire Diaries, unfortunately, so.
I watched that.
I did. I mean, look at those men. I mean, why wouldn't you watch it? Even the women are beautiful in that show. They're just all like, and then, to have yourself be perfectly perfect, I guess. I don't know.
Like
it's kind of hard,
What about Twilight?
Unfortunately, yeah, I have the videos.
Yeah.
I watch them when they're reruns on the TV.
Yeah.
It's just background, you know.
I have the videos too.
Okay, so I don't feel so
you're
bad.
okay.
I just always like, oh, it's like a young thing, but anyone that knows me, I love stuff like that.
They're so bad, they're good.
So bad, but good. Yes, I love it.
Yay. Okay, so favorite creature, a spider or a moth?
A moth,
Okay.
because I like butterflies.
Mhm.
And that's in that category. And their
I love
wings,
that.
even moths, can look beautiful in
Mhm.
their wings and
Mhm.
everything like that. I would definitely pick
I
that.
love
Yeah,
that.
and spiders just creep me out.
Yeah.
Just ask my son. He's worse though. I mean, get that spider, little spider. You know, yeah, I did it.
Okay.
They didn't bother me,
Stay
but
away
you know,
from them.
I would prefer a moth.
Okay. Favorite movie villain, Oogie Boogie or Beetlejuice? I know.
You're killing me.
I know.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas. It's decorated in my car, in my home, and but I have a Beetlejuice backpack right over there. I mean, come on,
backpack.
it's like intertwining right now. But I think it's gonna be Beetlejuice because Jack and Sally are my favorite out of that. So Oogie Boogie's not like the dominant character that I draw to. So I think I will definitely go for Beetlejuice.
And you were Beetlejuice for Halloween.
I was. I wore a little skull cap back this way and did my hair all. It was an Einstein wig.
Did you dye it green?
I dyed it green and made it all crazy and did my face, and I had a pillow, those little plush little fluffy pillows in my belly, so I had that gut on me and everything, and I had my combat boots, and it was a stripe outfit, you know.
Oh my god.
And I actually have a picture of me with guacamole in my mouth, and I'm like, you know, and it was so funny that someone took a picture and just with the whole Beetlejuice and the green guacamole in my mouth. It was hilarious.
It's amazing.
It was a lot of fun.
That.
It was fun being Beetlejuice for sure.
Wow, you guys really know how to do Halloween over there.
I'm telling you, anything Halloween, I can help people with Halloween.
Wow.
Halloween, we gotta all do something together.
Yeah.
It would be so much fun.
Yes.
I actually was in LA and got to see my dad and my best friend from high school, and we went to this pumpkin patch that they had at a garden there.
Aww.
Oh,
every one of these volunteers carved every pumpkin through that whole
Is that where you worked, Rebecca?
Probably.
It's in, I think, Pasadena.
Well, I worked at Descanso Gardens.
That's it.
That's the one.
I think it was. And every year they carve out just volunteers, artists do all this. I met a couple artists and now are following me too, because I was wearing my patched work sweater, and I had made a witch hat with mushrooms all over it, and that was my costume basically.
Oh yeah, I think we posted that.
Yeah, and they had a house that had it was all pumpkins. The whole house was a pumpkin, you know, and they took twigs and pumpkins and made spiders. And
that's so crazy, because there was one of my friends from the pumpkin show. He said that he had met you there, and I was like, I was thinking,
serious?
Yeah.
I know you.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
he's dark hair.
Yeah.
Yes, oh my god, that's who I met, and he was awesome. He actually hung out with us for a little bit and talked with us, and he showed me his pumpkin, and it was, and I met him right when we was going into the maze, so it was so awesome. He got to hang out with us for a while. Very awesome guy. He was nice.
Yeah. I didn't think, I was thinking it must not have been you, but it's such a small world.
Oh my gosh, that's such a small world.
I could have ran into you there, but I didn't run into you. But that's crazy.
Aww.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's so cool.
I could totally show you how to carve pumpkins like that.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Some 3D pumpkins.
Oh my gosh. I took so many pictures there. I have so many pictures from that.
Yeah.
I was in such awe. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really awesome.
Rebecca, I forgot you did professional pumpkin carving. They were so good. They were so good.
Which ones did you do?
I did like a Day of the Dead looking one.
I saw that one.
Wait, are they real pumpkins or fake ones?
Yeah, they're real.
They're real pumpkins, and they're just real big pumpkins, and they can just get so elaborate. That Alice in Wonderland just blew my mind.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was good.
Or the guy from Black Panther, I was like, is that real? And they had a tree in the back with his head. Oh my gosh. It was kind of a memorial for him, I think, because he had passed. So it was really awesome.
That's really cool.
It was really awesome. I really had a good time. Small
You
world.
saw
That is so
Rebecca's
cool.
pumpkin.
I know, I did. I probably have a picture of it because I saw that Day of the Dead. I was like, oh, I do.
Aww,
it's so cool.
Awesome.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm tripping out.
I can't get past this.
I know, me too.
Alrighty, next question. Okay. Aliens or Bigfoot?
Oh, you got me.
Or both, because Bigfoot, kind of an alien.
Yeah, I mean, but I've always been more drawn to the alien thing because, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to know, is there, And I always like fantasy movies and space, brought us back with the Marvel movies with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought that was so cool, and seeing all these different people from all different galaxies. It's kind of cool. So I'd go aliens, I think. Yes,
I love that. Okay. Bats or crows?
Crows, of course.
Okay, that's
crow.
Oh,
from her.
It
is. And it's kind of funny because when she gave me the necklace, when I'm driving to work, I'm like, I have like 40 minutes till I get to work in my drive, and I'll just spur out all my things that I'm grateful for, and just preparing myself for our chaos of our world and our day, and just to be good. And then I'll see a crow just fly across my car, or it'll be on the side of the road, or it's been flying literally inside of my car since she gave me the necklace. But I have them in my front yard too, and I'll go outside and they'll just start cawking and talking, and they communicate so much that you just don't. They are so smart, and they're incredible. I just think they're beautiful.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love that. They're so pretty.
Yeah.
My grandma used to have a pet crow.
Oh, I would love that. I was thinking about that there is people that have them as pets.
Yeah.
And I mean, I watched this documentary, and their communication between each other is like humans. It's incredible. They're so smart.
Yeah.
Or I'll just open a window and I'll hear them outside. It's like, are you trying to talk to me? Or I'll just go outside to see, It was kind of sad because we actually had a nest a couple doors down, and that's the ones that I would always hear all the time, and a bald eagle and their mate took over it. And I think they did something, but I still hear them. I think they moved a little farther down, but it was sad. I was like, and they fought it them. For that being that big of a bird, they were fighting.
Yeah.
It was interesting. So, but crows, yes, definitely.
They're amazing.
They're amazing.
Oh, I didn't know your grandma had a pet crow.
That is so amazing.
Did you ever see it, Rebecca?
No.
Okay.
Like before I was born, but I think she had found like a chick or something and then like raised it, and it was like really smart.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
That is so cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I hear that because they're so smart. It's not that hard to train them, I hear. So.
Yeah.
That's funny that you said that because I just recently was reading about that. You know, people.
You should get one if you can.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I wonder how you inquire them, I guess.
Yeah. Do you just find a baby one and adopt it?
Yeah, maybe.
That would be so cute. Okay, we got a couple more questions.
Okay.
Would you be a forest fairy or a water fairy?
I think I'd be... I'm drawn to water, too. I like water, like the ocean and stuff. But I think I enjoy the way I feel in the forest. So I think I would go for the forest fairy.
Love that.
Flowers.
Yes. Leaves and mushrooms.
Yeah, and the mushrooms. And
of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
Chocolate candy or sour candy?
Well, anybody that knows me, I can't stand sour candy.
I didn't know that.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I love chocolate. Dark chocolate is my jam. It was just funny that you say that because someone at work saw, try this little thing and didn't tell me it was sour. I put that in my mouth and my cheeks went like this and I was just like, don't ever give me that again. It's too sour. I don't like sour. So yes, definitely don't like sour.
Okay, that's good to know.
Do you like sour candy, Morgan?
Yeah, I love it.
Do you love it?
I love any kind of candy.
Oh, okay.
I just love sweets in general. So.
I love candy too. It's just the sour.
Do you like it, Rebecca?
No, so for Halloween, we'll just give you all of the non-chocolate.
I'll have all the sour gummy worms, sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
I will take them.
You'll take them all. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's all I got.
All right.
The artist bio. Okay, so for the artist bio, let's see here. Okay, so Jennyfer Preston is a crochet artist who creates handcrafted artistic crochet items made locally in Central Oregon. Jennyfer's work includes themes of mushrooms, Halloween, and anything funky and colorful. And you can check out her magical work on her Instagram page.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's show this jacket too.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
amazing. Look at this, Rebecca.
Wow.
The eyes. And it's the front too.
That's cool. How long did that take to make?
This one takes a while. Took a while. Just because sometimes when I'm making things, it has to come to me, just like any artist, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'll have like too many projects all at once because I'm like, it's not coming out the way I want it to or something, and this probably, if I really think about it, probably took me like 5 days, at least 5 days, a week.
Like a full work?
A full work, yeah. Well, 8 hours, a day, not anything. Because I usually work all day, go home, and I have TV on in the background, and I'm just doing this, and I end up messing up when I go on YouTube and all those things, and then if I take a break from doing crochet, and then I'll come up with another idea as I'm watching things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, stop. And I have so much yarn, I could just go in there and just, I'll just start it, and then I regret it. But I've been really working hard to try to be consistent on finishing one at a time. So that's my downfall a little bit. So
too many ideas.
Too many ideas.
Good ideas.
That's what it is. It's too many good ideas, I guess, because I feel like. Oh, and this is my new shawl with pockets with mushrooms.
Isn't that cute, Rebecca?
Yeah.
And it's all my scrap yarn, and there's a pocket on this side, so when you stand up, you got your pockets, and you put your hand and keep them warm.
So cute and colorful. You have such a good eye for color.
And it's funny because I learned that from just like being on Pinterest and learning combos of colors, and then all of a sudden it just kind of clicks. You just kind of go, oh wait, that kind of looks cool together, or using brighter colors to bring out something. And that's what I love about color, and you can just do so much with it. So
can I see a close-up of the mushrooms?
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Oh wow, it looks so good. The shape is like really nice too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And this is just scraps, like little spools. And when I get to a point where I'm having a whole bin full of those, I try to find little projects to get rid of them. So I'm never throwing out anything. And then I just saw recently another artist that was using this small scraps.
Oh my gosh.
But she would tie them, and they just look like little ruffles, or not like little fringy look on a collar or a wrist, or I'm like, that's genius. And so I've been always trying to utilize all my yarn.
Is that what you use for these?
Actually, it's connected to these other scraps, and then I just, kept on going and just added a few extras to fill in the little gaps and stuff.
So cute.
Yeah, I like it.
I love that.
Actually, Cosmic Depot had one of these, but I put eyes on the pockets instead.
Yeah.
So when you wore it, it looked like someone was looking at you. I thought that one was, and it sold. As soon as someone posted it, I just love Cosmic Depot. And I'm so glad she works there now too and stuff. And they've been a great support in getting me out there, especially since this pandemic. It seems like they do all their videos and stuff, and they'll just throw me on there every once in a while, and something sells. Like that skull one just recently, skull bag that I made. It was kind of like, looks like a Day of the Dead purse with a skull on the outside, and it was sitting there for a long time, and she posted, and last time I went in there, someone finally. So it is getting yourself out there is really what you have to do to make it happen. So
yeah, I even heard like some of their advertisements on the radio and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of customers come in. I've heard them.
Yeah.
And even my work now has been selling some of my stuff at Newport Market. So
that's amazing.
Which someone bought 2 of the hats yesterday.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
And it's so funny. I've never seen anybody with one of my eye purses. Just people that have bought it, and I didn't know them. It is so funny. Yesterday, I saw someone with an eye bag. And I go, I made that.
That's so cute.
And it was just so heartwarming. She's like, I love my bag. And you know what I mean? It just seems like it's been such a long journey to finally have and see it happening finally, and people knowing me. And it just makes my heart really warm.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
But it's just so funny that I happened to see that purse yesterday, and we're doing this, and it's just fun. I love it.
That. Do you want to explain like the significance of the eyes on your work?
I saw someone crochet an eye, and of course I had to be more elaborate on it. It just was just plain, and I had to just broaden it, and every once in a while add the eyelashes on it, and I just felt like when I was making them that I was sending good thoughts like a third eye, just people out there getting my vibes, my energy, and my eye. And I guess that's how I thought of it. And I've sold so many of those eyes. I of course have kind of putting that aside because mushrooms are crazy right now, and so but it's so funny. Someone at work was saying it's the mushroom year. I'm all, it's been the mushroom year for like 2 years. It seems like, you know what I mean? I've been making those mushrooms for almost 2 years now for Cosmic Depot. This little bag right here. I have sold so many of these. Or just people calling me, messaging me, will you make me one? And the eye bags too. But those have been really popular, so.
Yeah, I think especially in Oregon, they see mushrooms are like, must be all the mushrooms.
People that go mushrooming all the time. I really would love to do that.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun. I really want to do that. I want to grow my own mushrooms. You can get a kit. And
I've seen those. I've been wanting to do that. It'd be so fun. Yeah, you can do some trumpets and, king's trumpet.
Super fun.
It'd be really cool. It's interesting, the process, too. They just send it all to you in a little thing.
I want to try that.
That'd be fun.
So I have some interview questions for you. Okay. One of them is actually about your eyes, so that's good that we started.
Sorry, I took that question.
Yeah. So Nick actually helped with these questions.
Aww.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Nick is Rebecca's fiance.
Oh, awesome.
And they're getting married soon, and Nick is gonna help a little bit with the show, I think.
Oh,
so that's exciting.
Fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
He's so supportive of Rebecca's art, and he makes all the frames for her artwork.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's so nice to hear.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your art journey so far?
It's a little funny story. Well, my grandmother and my mom are quilters and crocheters. My grandmother do doilies, and my mom still to this day will make quilts and hand piece it together.
Wow.
And it's incredible, but I didn't get that niche as a kid, but I used to do granny squares with my grandma and stuff like that. And then a relative moved up here to Oregon. This gentleman's in his 30s, and he lived with us for a while to get himself settled and move in, and he was crocheting a blanket.
Aww.
And he was just like, it just relaxes me to do it. And I'm like, you know what, I tend to be over anxious, and I can't sit still too long when I'm at work. It's like, give me something to do because I don't want to just stand here. And so I have that anxiousness at home. And I thought, I was going through a lot of ups and downs of anxiety and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. So I tried patterns. I'm a visual learner. So I took on YouTube and taught myself. And that's been almost 6 years now.
Wow.
6 years, yeah. And I started off with little flowers and the most horriblest yarn, but I wasn't going to spend any money on yarn at first. I went to all the thrift stores. The nice thing about Goodwill, they would take all these yarn and put it in big old bags for $14.99.
Wow.
Oh,
that's cool.
There might be something that I wouldn't use, but I would buy that because it was so cheap. And so because I didn't want to spend too much money on something that I didn't fulfill that journey of like trying to keep on doing it. So, but it worked, and it just, I don't know, I just found it so relaxing when I get off work. You know, I had a horrible, there's been a lot of ups and downs in my life. And so to find something that made me feel good and made me feel like I was sending good energy to people that bought it, that it helped with my anxiety. So I just kept on doing it. It kind of sometimes takes over my world that I need to kind of cut back a little bit. I'll take on too many projects, or someone will ask me something and I'm all, but yeah, I'll do it. You know what I mean? It's just, that's how much I enjoy it. But, you know, I feel like he started it, you know, just him crocheting a blanket and having him say that it helped him relax, and he was dealing with anxieties too. So, I mean, that's how it all started, and I continued to do it. And then I love Cosmic Depot, and I went into Cosmic Depot, and I just had one of my bags with the eye on it, and that's what started it. And I talked to the owner. She was willing to put my stuff in there, and the rest is history. I mean, I would love to do an Etsy, and my friend here is hopefully going to help me get that all started and stuff. But I wanted to see the results like this, right, in the last 2 years of like people are knowing who I am, and that's when I felt like maybe then I'll do that. But I have a full-time job, and 40 hours a week is kind of hard to squeeze it in. I just do it until I get sleepy and I go to bed, you know. But like I said, with the vampire thing, I would just love to be able to be up all night and create things all the time. I would be so happy, but it doesn't work out. Gotta get my sleep. I have to get sleep. But yeah, it just helped me with stress, and I think that's a good thing, and people like it, and I'm grateful that people like it, and I hope to do so much more. But that was how it all started. So it was just something that, because I used to do jewelry, like hemp jewelry making. Just, there was all these little projects of art that I wanted to try, but I never did it. And not to mention, I wanted to be in the fashion industry. Basically, when I got out of high school, I wanted to go to a fashion school, but I think that's why the crochet came out as fashion more than a blanket, because honestly, I've made one blanket. And it's because my best friend had a baby. And I had to make the baby a blanket. And I made her a rainbow blanket because we needed our colors for the baby. So, but I don't do that. I like hats, scarves. I actually made a pumpkin purse. Yeah, so it looks like a pumpkin, and it's round.
Wow.
I try to just bring some color to the world, I guess. Basically.
Yeah, it's cool that it's like functional art too.
Yeah, and because that's why I had that at the end, art, because I feel like this is art to me. It's not. That is because when I'm looking at things in color, and I'll take it out, and no, I won't try that. You know, it is processing what I want to have. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
What are some goals that you have with your art career?
Well, starting an account of some sort and start really broadening out my art everywhere, you know. I know there's been you know, some people have moved away and have seen, you know, my stuff. So I mean, that is my goal, because my job that I have now is kind of like my getting a retirement, because those tough times I was talking about, I had to, you know, do things to change things to move up here. And so now I'm just trying to get a point where my retirement is going to be, you know, doing this and selling it online and having everybody enjoy it. And I just have to do a job right now to live and do a little bit of this in between and keep it going and just add little things at a bit at a time. And the baby steps. But I feel like I've gotten halfway there finally, you know. It's just that one more leap, I think, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it.
And you could just keep growing it, you know, however much you can slowly, and then it'll become like a good source of income by the time you're ready to do it full time.
And that's what my goal was, is just to start the process now.
Yeah.
And then by the time I've reached my retirement, I'm set. I have another job where I can just, okay, I'm ready now. I'm done. Retail, I'm over it. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Too long of a long time.
Where do you get your inspirations and how do you stay creative?
I get a lot of inspirations from just the outdoors, colors, the trees, I've made leaves before, and, you know, just a lot of the nature stuff. I even made a crow bag, hand crocheted a crow head on a bag.
Wow.
It's just, and I've done birds before, and even swirls or colors. I get a lot of that inspiration from that. And because most of it is like something with, you know, my chakras, the eye, and the mushrooms is nature, and just everything's in the colors. I don't know, it just seemed like I never had that much color in my life, if that makes any sense. There was certain colors, and mostly black, you know, because I was a punk rocker in the 80s, you know, so everywhere wore black most of the time. And so it's actually nice to, I'm finally bringing more color even to my life, because I made this, let me get this jacket. And it's just patches.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a cardigan. And I don't know, for the longest time I didn't wear it. I felt like it was too colorful, you know, if that makes sense, because of color just not being so dominant in my life. And I started wearing it, and I started feeling more confidence. And I have gotten so many compliments on that. And it was another process of getting rid of scraps, because they were just little spools. Well, I made little squares. 90 squares later, I just pieced it all together.
Wow.
And I made a cardigan, and thrift stores was always my friend. And look, I found these little wooden buttons that have castles on them. And, you know, I always found a bunch of stuff at thrift stores too. I mean, for my inspiration and stuff, you know, just, I'll put those on that, or I'll make that and put that.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a really cool sweater.
I love it. I wear it every day now.
It's like your uniform.
It is my uniform. Well, the eye one now is going to probably be...
Is that the replacement?
It's kind of like the mix with a little bit longer jacket. Some things I can't give away. Like the crow bag, I wanted to see if I could do crocheting freehand, an actual something. And I'm not selling that one. You know, it's just one of those things that I wanted to see if I could do it. And it came out so good, and it was my bird, and I just kept it. So
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out really good. It ended up being the pocket on the outside of the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So when you put your, stuff in there, it popped out and it almost made it like 3D, like those pumpkins, it just kind of gave it that dimension. So pretty cool, yeah.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan, do you have any pieces that like you don't want to get rid of?
Of my art?
Yeah.
I have sold all of my dolls. I haven't kept any of them, even though there were some that I wanted. But I don't know. I guess I would rather sell them and buy work from other artists.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, true.
Because when I look back at my own art, I don't feel like I appreciate it as much as things other people have made. So I'd rather. Yeah,
and which she's awesome.
But there's
she's
some
so
things
awesome.
Maybe I wish I'd kept a couple things, but
yeah.
I always thought I could just make another one for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm never gonna do that.
No.
No.
Yeah.
When I saw your scarecrow with the little strawberry bag, I was just in awe. I mean, awe.
Oh, thank you.
No, that little strawberry, and it inspired me to make a strawberry purse, and I did.
Yeah.
I made a strawberry
She made a
drawstring.
real life version of the strawberry purse.
Yeah, I did.
On
I
my
made a
square.
strawberry purse, and it's a drawstring, and I put leaves on the top, and I used glow in the dark beads. So, and I used black, string, so it looked like the black, but if you had it in black light, you could see the little spots on it from those little, because of all of the work that I used to do with just making necklaces and the hemp work and stuff that I used to do, I still have all the beads, and so now I'm incorporating the beads into my work, so trying to not get rid of all of it, and ended up working out. So
that's cool.
like our last project we did, I brought all my beads over because I had all these beads. I had so many, and we utilized them in this little bottles we were making, and it was a lot of fun. They were fun.
Yes. Rebecca, have you saved any of your art you've made for yourself?
Yeah. Just like some paintings that I'm like, this is really nice, and I would have to sell it for like thousands of dollars to get rid of it.
Which ones?
It's like this one that it kind of looks like the Little Mermaid.
Oh yeah.
She got like the red hair coming down.
Oh, cool.
She's so like sitting on the dock. Yeah, I'm like.
I love that one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I know. I like your art. It's so beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I have some of my little Edwards.
I would love to have one of the Edwards.
She's so expensive.
Tim Burton is everything. Yeah. Every movie, love him.
Yeah.
Danny Elfman, love him. Everything about him.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Like we should like do a craft day and play like a bunch of Tim Burton movies.
Oh yes.
I would love that.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
We need to do that.
Yeah. I have all of them. I can bring them over.
That would be so fun.
Okay. So the next question is, do you have any favorite artists or role models? But it's like Tim Burton and Danny Elfman. And
that's pretty much it. I love the black and white stripes and all that, white skin and dark blacks and purples and greens and anything, Halloween colors. And Sally's one of my favorites. And, I get inspired by art like that.
Yeah.
And anybody that, even yours, I mean, you're kind of haunting, looking. And it's kind of funny. My brother has it now, but my mom used to have this picture in her house, or I think she had it in her house, but it was a man and a woman, and you could tell it was like total 60s, you know, of, what was that show? It was a soap opera that was a vampire, and then
Dark Shadows?
Yeah, the Dark Shadows and stuff. And it was like that era looking, and they both have black eyes, and he has like the total like curly swirly, you know, like the Brady Bunch, curly, you know, perm hair. And, I mean, it's just a really weird picture, but I love it. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. I love it. That. Kind of dark looking, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Morgan love that too.
I know. When it comes to art, yeah. I have fairies in my, actually, that's why I suggested fairies for the show, because I have fairy art from places like when I've gone to Renaissance fairs and stuff. I have a couple that I've gotten that did these fairy arts and stuff. I have like four fairy portraits and, you know, of that, their art and stuff. And so I like a lot of that mystical stuff too, you know. And look.
Love that.
So, how do you motivate yourself to complete bigger projects?
Forcing myself almost. I mean, I'm doing a project right now, and it's a man sweater, but I've never like did actual patterns. So it's almost like when you take that paper that has the squares, the pixelated, you know, and you can do that too with crocheting, but you're always dropping a yarn in a different color and bringing it up so you can create a portrait almost. And I decided I want, in, what is that movie, Big Lebowski? Yeah, that's where the inspiration is coming from this sweater. And it's coming out really good, but when I get to the collar or certain things that I don't have that person with me, I tend to have those big projects give me a little bit of anxiety, and I have to put it down. Yeah. I just have to, because if I keep on trying to whip through it, then I know I'll make a mistake or I'll be dissatisfied. Because unfortunately, I'm really a perfectionist. Unfortunately, sometimes it gets the best of me, you know, because I'll look at something and I'll rip it out, and I'm like, what did I do? It wasn't that bad of a notice, but I noticed, so I took it out. If I noticed, I took it out, you know. That's just the way I am, so it just happens that way.
Totally get that.
Yeah.
But then there's some big projects like this one, I just whipped it out and it was like nothing, but then the pockets I put and set it aside because I was like, oh, the hand sewing is my that's why when I look at my mom hand sewing big quilts, the actual designs on that quilt,
that's crazy.
It would drive me insane. If I using that hook, I'm all good. But when I have to sew these appliques on, you know, of my mushrooms or my eyes, it's such a time-consuming thing, you know, and I have to make it perfect. So if there's like a wave in it or it's poofing out, I'm like, ugh. So that's my issue when it comes to big projects and stuff like that. But
that makes sense.
But I get out of it, or I throw it in a bin and I find it later and I'm all, oh, maybe I should finish that. I got 2 bins now, and
oh no,
terrible. But they're big projects. It's those big projects. Like I have a sweater, and guess what? Halfway through it, I missed a stitch.
Oh no.
So this pattern was supposed to go all the way down like a flow perfectly in that middle, and two spots. Well, one's going this way and one's going that way. Well, that doesn't work.
Oh,
So
no.
it went in the bin because I would have had to take the whole half of it out.
Oh.
So stuff like that. And
Yeah.
but I've been really good lately. I've been getting organized and getting more of a room to store everything and that's helping that anxiety too.
That's good.
Just organizing.
Yeah.
I need to organize. Yeah. It helps.
At least you're aware of it and like you're
Yeah.
trying to figure out what to do about it.
Yeah, I have arguments with myself sometimes about the whole, you just gotta finish it. No, don't do that. No, don't start another project. Stop.
Yeah.
That's my arguments with myself most of the time. So.
What's the best way for a beginner to start crocheting?
Ooh.
Honestly, it was YouTube for me. I mean, you can go on YouTube and there's just people on there that are showing you basic stitches. And then I would buy books and learn the symbols because even though if you don't use a pattern, you should know all the little symbols. So if you ever had to use a pattern, you could. I mean, but most of the time I've learned pretty much all stitch wise on YouTube, and then I got a book on the symbols, and then it kind of started clicking. It's the hands. Starting is kind of learning your tension on your hands. At first I was too tight, so everything, you could use that hook that it recommended, but you just made it a smaller hook by your tension being too tight, so your pattern may not come out the same as you would like it to look. And just learning hook sizes and different, of the yarn, the weight of the yarn, because there's different weights of yarn. So you just gotta learn all these things and just whatever feels comfortable in your hands, and just go from there. And just watching people. I'm a visual learner, so that's why I knew I needed to see it visually to learn first, and then I can. But still, to this day, now that I know all the stitches, I could watch a video on YouTube and I'm all, oh, that's how she did it. Oh, and then I just, and then I create a little more on it for my own, you know what I mean? Not necessarily taking patterns from people, just getting the stitches right and learning how they work. And I know a lot of that pixelated stuff is really popular right now, so that's why I've been trying to learn it. But it comes down to that hand sewing. Well, there's scragglies everywhere after that kind of work, and that gives me anxiety. So I have to pace myself for that one. But yeah,
totally makes sense.
That's cool. I've never seen.
What's up?
I've never seen like how crocheting really works, so it'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's. I don't have any yarn with me. But, oh yes, I do. Actually, do you want to see?
Okay.
How I hold my hand? I actually going to a concert and I wanted to make a skirt for the concert. So
cool.
I'm just whipping it out.
That's awesome.
So.
Yeah. What kind of concert is it?
We're going to Beats Antique.
So it's going to be a little pencil skirt, and I'm going to do other different colors, and it's kind of thick, and it's supposed to be cold that day, but see our hook. And this is like thick yarn, like I said. The weight of the yarn is thick. So, but that's how I hold it. I hold it like this. There's some people that hold it like this. I mean, there's just however you feel. And it's funny, I put mine through my fingers like that because I feel like it helps me with my tension. See how I just kind of go like that.
Oh.
And then I just, you know. But I feel like when I have them like in my fingers like that, you know.
Yeah, you have like more
I
control.
can have control more of the yarn going through my fingers. So my tension doesn't get too tight. And so, but then there's other people that crochet different than that. You know, they hold the hook different, or I've seen people wrapping their yarn around their finger and they're constantly hooking and flipping their finger, you know? So it's just how you feel with that hook and that yarn, you know what I mean? And a lot of people do it a lot of different ways. That just ended up clicking for me, where I've had a grip of it and I had more control of the yarn going through my fingers and not getting too tight. So
that's so cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
And I think it'd be fun to teach people how to crochet. I tried to do that at a friend's house one time. And you don't realize how people are trying to figure out how to do it. And because I don't remember, because I think I kind of already knew how I held it in my hand when I was a kid, almost. So it was kind of strange to watch somebody trying to figure out how to hold it and putting it through the loop, and it just seems it clicked easier for me. But it was fun to try to teach him. He learned how to chain by the time I left, but you know, it was like this whole hand thing, you know, just learning how you were comfortable with it. So and they show other examples too of a couple different things that I've seen in books, how people hold.
Just a warning, our time on this one might run out soon, so if it does, I'll start a new one and we'll probably have to move on to doing our fairy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking too much. You shouldn't have had me on here.
No.
I'm a talker. I'm a talker. Ask any of my family members. Oh, shut up, Jenny.
I don't want to lose Rebecca and not. It might happen. So if it does, we'll just restart it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, what are you planning to create next? Like, any exciting projects?
You know what is so funny is I saw someone make a big mushroom. I mean, a big mushroom, and they get that big, super 7-weight yarn, and they just made a big and just stuffed it. I think it'd be kind of fun to have some mushroom pillows around in your house. It would be so big you could cuddle up with it.
It could be like a little stool or something.
Yep. I don't know. I've been seeing some of that. I've just been making the same as this bag, but they're little necklaces with the little mushrooms. Yeah.
Cool.
And you can put crystals in them and stuff.
Yeah, and everybody's been putting crystals, and it's so funny. I'll just have them with me, and people just are buying them off of me, and I'm like, that's awesome. Cool. I know. I think I'm gonna sell some at Cosmic. Like, I just recently made a red bag like that, and I hadn't even put the spots in. I was just somewhere, and they saw my jacket, and they're like, oh, it's so cool. Oh, I made it. What? You know, and it, oh, I have some stuff on my car. I just happened to go to Cosmic right before there to see if they would want any of that stuff. And she saw it, and she's all, here's $25. Hold it for me and finish the spots, and I'll pay you the rest later. I'm like, okay. That's awesome. I mean, she didn't even see it with the spots on, but she wanted it, and it made me feel really good. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, so I'm probably going to try elaborate more on my mushrooms, but I actually made banana kitties too. They were like little kitties coming out of bananas. And that was really like the first time I made a little plush almost, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think I want to make some more of those because those were cute.
They were cute.
And I have a banana kitty wallet, and that's what inspired me to make it. Little cats and bananas coming out of the bananas.
Love that.
Do you use any other mediums to do your work, or do you just use crochet, or do you want to try any other mediums?
Well, I mean, I used to do cross stitching as a girl too. I mean, I had a family that did all of those things, you know, cross stitching, crocheting. Knitting didn't ever seem to be in our house, but because I tried it. I did not. I was like, no, because it's hard, and I couldn't take it out as easy, and I just chose not to do that. But I'm always wanting to learn something new. And I mean, in high school, I used to take art and sewing. All of that kind of stuff was fun to me, and anytime I can draw. I used to love painting too, and I would love to just do a canvas just randomly because I haven't since high school. I mean, I love blending colors, and I think that's what started that whole coloring thing, because I used to use coloring books. I used to color in coloring books all the time and blend the colors. To be all even technical back then, you know, I guess. But I'm always willing to learn something new. I would love to learn that felting and stuff. Just something different, you know. Always willing. That's why we were always getting together, like, let's do a craft. What did we do? The little bottles, little
essential oil bottles, little glitter bottles.
Yeah,
everything's with bottles. We did some.
We did the burn
the wax. We melted wax over the bottles.
Well, and out of your parents' house, went in your garden and got lavender and
we made sage bundles.
And did sage bundles. Oh. That was fun because it was right out of her little mini garden she had. It was so cute. We just went in there and snipped, and I brought, wrapped them and put flowers. It was so much fun.
That was really fun.
So yeah, I'm always willing to learn something different.
Love that.
Do you have any advice for other artists?
My son is the same way. He critiques himself and thinks he's not an artist, but he really is an artist, because it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. Because I could sit there and say I don't really like something, but someone else will. Everybody has art in them in different ways, and I feel like you should always just keep doing it, because it doesn't matter. You might like some of it, but there might be some that you're like,
Yeah.
But someone else might just totally adore it, and I'm realized that everybody should just realize art is not something that should be critiqued or anything. It should be just how you see it and how you feel when you see it.
I like that. Yeah. It's very different than what Rebecca and I have gone through, and just almost drains it out of you a little bit. Like that pressure, And
you have to not think that way, because I'm always saying, well, is someone going to like this? Well, yeah, someone is going to like it. It may not be someone you think it might like it, but I mean, some of the art I've seen, someone will probably go, oh my God, I have to have that painting. It is so gorgeous. I'm like, okay, if you like it, because that is what art, I feel, is whatever is coming out of you, someone's going to like it. Someone is.
I really
for
like
sure.
that.
Yeah. Like my son made me for, I think it was Christmas or my birthday, I don't know if you guys ever seen the Disney movie The Rescuers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I love that one.
That was my favorite movie as a little girl. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The mouse and poor Penny, you know, and I just felt for her. And it's, he made me, it was so cute. I'm into Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So he turned Penny into Princess Leia. It's just a drawing with pencil.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of the dog, you know, the teddy bear that she had in there, and well, he turned it into Chewbacca as the bear that she's holding. So it's Penny but in Star Wars version. And I had to put that on my wall. I mean, it's just, he knew how much I love Star Wars, and he knows how much I love that movie, and it was so cool.
I love that crossover.
Yeah, it was a good crossover. I mean, she had little buns, just like Princess Leia, and his little strap on the bear was the strap that, you know, Chewbacca has across his chest, and you can tell it was that interpretation. It was really cool.
Wow, he's a real artist.
Yeah, keep on saying that to him, because he really is, but he just doesn't believe it. He is, though. We've inspired each other. And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
Do you have
cool.
any more questions, Rebecca?
Nope, that's all.
That's all? Okay, I think we should pause and take an intermission so we can restart it so it doesn't cut out on us.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay,
Those were good questions.
Those were so good.
Thanks,
I'm having fun.
Yes.
This is so fun.
Thank you, Rebecca.
And Nick.
And oh yes, Nick. Thank you.
Nick,
Good job,
thank
Nick. Good question.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we will close this one off and we'll start it again as a part 2, and we'll go all into fairies. We're gonna do some fairy history and folklore, some interesting stories and real life stuff, and then we'll go into the conspiracies.
Okay.
That'll be good.
Yay!
So we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Hi, we're back with part 2 of Jenny's episode, and we're going to get into talking about fairies. So we're just going to wait for Rebecca to join in, and then we'll get started. There's Rebecca. Okay. Yay!
Yay!
Hi!
Hey!
Okay, we got a little break. And now we're going to get into the fairy stuff. Woo! Fairy!
Yeah!
Okay. So, I can't remember. Was I first on the... Okay. Okay. Alright, so Jenny suggested fairies, and we all love them, so I was super excited about that topic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start out with a little brief history about fairies, and I went to the thrift store recently, and I found this book there, and it's A Witch's Guide to Fairy Folk. And so
cool.
I got my info from this, and
nice.
had like a really good history part, and then some little like spells and things like that you can do with fairies, so super cool. So my main question with the history was, how did fairies come to be, and why are they such a big part about human mythology kind of all throughout history in different countries? And there's some different things people think. They think they're nature spirits, or even spirits of the dead that didn't fully cross over, even fallen angels, which is super interesting.
I read that,
yeah. And then the Celtic and Germanic people thought fairies were ghosts of the dead, or souls that were waiting to move on. So I thought that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then another kind of theory is they're thought to live underground in some mythology and lure people down to the fairy world. So kind of having a dark side to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then another really cool one is fairies are part of an ancient civilization that was earlier than ours, and we kind of overlapped a little bit. So that overlap is kind of what creates those sightings, the two like time periods crossing over. Um, and then another one was that people kind of use fairies to explain natural phenomenons that they didn't really have any other reasoning for before scientific reasons. So I thought that was interesting too. And just that there's fairies in all different cultures. Every culture has a version of a fairy.
Yeah.
So kind of like the mermaids and dragons. Like, why does every culture believe in them? What links it all together? So, fairies are all unique and they can all be really different. They can be seen in a lot of different ways. They all have unique talents, personalities, and mannerisms. They can appear solid and almost human, or they could also be wisps of smoke or light. So, one of my main questions was, how are people able to see fairies? What were they seeing? And even people nowadays that can see fairies, how are they doing that? And kind of what sets them apart to be able to see that other side? So, an explanation from the book was there's an astral realm, aka the fairyland, and it coexists simultaneously with our world. And because there's a theory that all time exists at the same time simultaneously. So the fairyland realm is existing with our realm, and there's a thin veil between the two. And sometimes it gets thin, and sometimes people are able to kind of glimpse through that. And it all has to do with our consciousness and kind of what we're letting ourselves tap into. So I thought that was super interesting. So people think the fairies inhabit a different plane of existence, but they're still sentient beings with feelings and personalities. So then why do some people on Earth sometimes see fairies? Since the worlds coexist, if the veil gets thin, an observant person might see something out of the corner of their eye, or see something that even looks like a human fairy, and almost like seeing a ghost. Like some people see a ghost that crosses over that energy field to ours. So why couldn't the fairies do the same thing? So there are some methods the book had if you want to try shifting your consciousness to be more open and receptive to seeing fairies, which is something I kind of want to try to do. I think it would be super cool.
Oh,
Yeah. So, it's just basically shifting your consciousness to be able to see into the fairy astral plane. So some ways are meditation, going on nature walks, scrying, which is you can look into a mirror or a crystal ball or something, and it's basically picturing what you would picture the fairy or the fairy world to be, and it can kind of help you connect. Yeah, it's so cool. Trance or lucid dreams, which is also astral projection, which is basically just letting your deep mind journey, which is what I feel like all of it really is, which is really interesting. So, some tips if you want to go out in nature and try to see a fairy, which is supposed to be one of the more difficult ways to do it. Usually it happens to people who can lucid dream, or they'll just kind of see it out of the corner of their eye, or people who meditate. But so you want to find a quiet, secluded spot, and then you want to look around for burrows, which are like little hills in the ground, and that's where they're said to live. Or you could also look for fairy rings. And then you want to give them an offering, and they're supposed to really like milk or fresh butter.
Fresh butter.
I got that on my notes too.
So you can give them that. And then with the fairy rings, you want to be careful. I don't think you want to step inside of them. It's better to observe it from the outside in a safe spot where you're not disturbing it. So those are just some tips if you want to try going out in nature. I think it'd be kind of fun. Yeah. Find a peaceful spot.
Someone I was talking to at work said there's a film that we can watch about this gentleman that goes into nature and takes pictures of the fairies.
That's so cool.
And she said it was a really great book, but I find it interesting that I was talking about doing the show, and that's what she said to me. And then you're saying about actually going, basically what he was doing. Yeah. So, but he was, well, I'll have to ask her about that movie. We'll have to watch it.
That seems super interesting.
You just take pictures of them, I guess, supposedly in the forest. So.
Is it like a documentary, or is it?
I don't know. She didn't really get too in depth of like, oh, you should watch this. It was some about. That's what he did. He went into the forest and to be with the fairies and take pictures of them. Like
that's so cool.
I mean, and I guess she said it was well done. The movie.
I saw a movie like that when I was a kid, so I'm not sure if it's the same one.
I wonder if it is.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, she said it was really good. She had it. She said she'd loan it to me, but
watch that.
I thought it was interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I'm coming over.
Yes,
come to Bend. Yeah, so I definitely want to try that. I think it would be really cool. I've definitely seen videos where there'll be, a ball of light or something going through the forest, or people that capture them on their cameras at their house. So I think it would be super cool. But anyway, if you're gonna go do that, protection from fairies is good to know. So they're usually harmless. They're not gonna do anything bad. In rare cases, they can be frightening or intimidating if they choose to be, people say, but they don't really have an ability to harm us, from what I saw. But some historical forms of protection, iron, they don't like iron or any metal that looks like that. They can't kind of cross over into our realm near you if you have iron on you. So people would keep a nail or something in their pocket. And then in Europe, mothers would place little safety pins and things on their babies when they were born to protect them when they were sleeping from fairies.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then another option is a 4-leaf clover. You can carry that in your pocket. And it's also said to break fairy spells. So that's good to know. Metal horseshoes, that's also an option.
Metal horseshoes.
Witches' brooms, they would leave them by the hearth in their house because they thought fairies could come down from the chimney. So that's interesting. And then also the smoke or a pipe. They don't like smoke. And then the last one is usually if you break a mirror, it's bad luck. But you can use that. You can put it in a jar. And that is supposed to keep fairies away because the different reflections will kind of confuse them and keep them away. And you can put it in a windowsill. So that's a way too. but I thought
That's
those were
awesome.
interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the last of my notes.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
so interesting.
I know. I mean, I was just telling her, I've loved fairies for so long, but there's so much that I did not know about them.
Yeah, I'm excited
You
to
know what
hear
I
what
mean?
you have to say too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked like going down a little bit of the darker, like
Ooh,
route.
I like it.
Yes. Tell us what you found.
Okay. So like I did a little background too on them. So
Yeah, that's always good.
let's see. So yeah, like European cultures, Celtic, Slavic, Germanic, English, French, they all have like a lot
Yeah,
of
that's what I have written down on those. Yeah.
I
Good
just
job,
Yeah.
everyone.
So
I mean,
cool.
I like looked at Wikipedia a lot. I didn't
I
have like
did
a
too,
cool
dude.
fairy book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just happened to find the book, so
That is so cool that
I'm
you
glad
happened to
I
find
have. It has a bibliography, so I feel like it's reliable.
That's perfect.
that.
So yeah, they're like kind of like a spirit, metaphysical and supernatural. Um yeah, so they're like where did fairies come from? They're like demoted angels or demons, or they're like pagan gods and goddesses, dead spirits or spirits of nature, or what humans used to be and then evolved to like more human like now even. So yeah, and like fairies used to be more feared than they are today. Like now they're kind of cute and pretty, but it's like they were kind of like you don't want them in your house.
They're very
back then.
mischievous.
Yeah.
That's what I learned. A lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stories were that one.
Yeah.
So the word fairy used to describe like any kind of magical creature that was usually more goblin or gnome like.
Oh.
So they were like baby sized, like chunky little, like goblins, and not really delicate things with wings as much.
I love that.
And or they could be like a bodiless, like nature type spirit. And they were often like blamed for illness and birth deformities. Like, the fairies did that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
And so King James, who ruled the kingdoms of Scotland and England at one time, he wrote a long essay titled Demonology, which I would want to read that. That sounds interesting. And he stated that fairies were demonic entities that consorted with witches. And in the 17th century, the Christian church cast all fairies as demons or demoted angels. And one story tells of a group of angels revolting, and God ordered the gates of heaven be shut, and the angels caught between the gates of heaven and hell are fairies.
Oh.
I read some of that too.
Yeah, I thought that was like a cool
yeah
take on it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so then I really like the story of changelings. Like I think they're really an interesting part of fairies. So historically, a changeling is an oaf creature that is human-like, and it's believed to be a fairy that had been left in place of a stolen human child. And
so scary.
That's so crazy. But I read some of that kind of stuff too, where they'll be nice, they'll be mean, or they'll take you and take them to their realm, you know?
So the human child goes to the fairy realm?
Yeah, and then they would like either raise it,
or take them back.
Yeah,
too.
They make them a little slave. or something.
Oh my god.
Whatever they want.
I didn't read that part.
And I thought this was interesting. I never heard of this, but a changeling was also like an adult human that had been taken, especially the newly married or new mothers. They would like take one of those. And so the newly married would be given to marry fairies, and the new mothers would nurse fairy babies.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, so then instead of putting like an oaf-like creature in place of the adult people that were taken, they would put a log that was enchanted to look like the person.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I guess the oaf-like creatures, they're small, like they're more like babies, but then the log is like a giant tree. And so then the log would sicken and die and be buried by the human family, and the human family would often like not suspect what had happened.
That's really sad.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so like I think that I feel like kind of an explanation for this is like newly married and new mothers, there's like oftentimes like postpartum depression with like having babies, or like you're newly married and like you become a different person sometimes, or like maybe you're not as like infatuated with the relationship anymore. I don't know, that seems like I hear that. So maybe like people are like, oh, this is a changeling, and like the real like person was stolen, and now I'm left with this log.
To get rid of a child?
Oh my god.
Or yeah, like the adult, you know, the adult's not the same anymore, and they say it's like a log person.
Oh.
Well, I read a lot of stuff like that where they enter in your body.
Oh.
You know, almost like your fate. They can be that person that's guiding you through that. And then there could be times where they don't want to be nice, and but almost sounds like someone's in their body, like an actual spiritual of that. That's kind of what I read. That's why I'm like connecting to that, I guess.
Yeah. And so there's like a famous story about a woman named Bridget Cleary. And she's like one of the most well-known cases of an adult thought to be a changeling. And she was thought to be a changeling by her husband and her father. So, like, you guys should look it up. Her name's Bridget.
Is this recent or a long time ago?
No, 1895.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like kind of recent. It's like not too long ago, which is like still kind of crazy to think like they were still thinking like fairies were taking people and replacing them with logs.
Honestly, maybe it's still happening nowadays.
Yeah.
With some of the people out there.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Oh my god. Good point.
Yeah. But so her story's like really interesting.
That is interesting.
And basically she like got sick with bronchitis. And then she also was like a very independent business owner type woman for the time period. And her husband and her father were like, oh, she's changed. She's not the same person she used to be, and she's sick now, which according to like what happens, the log like becomes sick and withers away. So she's sick and different. And so her husband like straight up killed her because he is trying to make the fairies return his real wife back to him.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of giving like when men used to say women had hysteria. it's
Yeah.
giving that a little bit.
There's something wrong with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they would use changelings like as a scapegoat for
Oh, yeah.
like
That's so
baby.
interesting.
Yeah, like if your baby wasn't perfect, it's like this isn't my baby. This is a replacement.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah.
so
It's a
interesting.
changeling.
I'm glad you brought up
That
changelings.
is-
I forgot
Yeah,
about
I
them.
forgot that too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that one because I didn't really know that much about the word, but so it was good to research.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So interesting.
Yeah.
that's all I have on that.
That was awesome.
That
was
is
so
awesome.
interesting.
I want to read about that now.
Yeah,
That
look
was
up
really-
that Bridget Cleary story.
I really
It's
liked that. Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Glasses.
Oh, do you want to go get him?
I need my glasses, guys.
Oh, okay.
Glasses.
Even though I wrote in my writing, but, you know.
Yeah. We're all wearing our glasses.
I need to have my
What,
glasses.
Rebecca?
We already got our glasses on.
Oh, yeah.
We got the string. I'll look like a nice old lady. Okay.
You don't look old.
No.
Sure.
Isn't her hair cute, Rebecca?
Yeah, it looks kind of similar to yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just did her hair today. It looks so
I
great.
bleached the blonde part and then
I
the
love-
black.
Yeah, it looks great.
Thank you.
Well, I kind of learned how if you wanted to draw fairies into your yard or into your home,
Right after I tell this scary story.
you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, let's bring them in. Yeah. Well, what I found out is that the bad fairies are the hobgoblins and the giants and the trolls. Well, okay. Which, you know, the trolls will eat people, so there's some fairies, I guess, that eat people.
Okay.
Because they say trolls are in that sphere of and then the good ones are the brownies and the gnomes and the pixies and the leprechauns and we said that was bowbacks?
That sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds good. Those are the good fairies. We have like flower and earth fairy, pixies, gnomes, and they protect the trees and the plants and help things grow.
Oh.
The house fairies, like the brownies and the bowbacks that we were saying, great to invite into your home, help cleaning and prosperity and safe
That would
in
be
your
nice.
home. Fairy folk, most fairies hate big displays of thanks from humans whom they have helped. Best not utter thanks at all, but leave out extra portions of milk, butter, bread to show your appreciation for them. I found so many cute things about, bringing the fairy. But you got to realize those bad fairies, you can draw them in, so you always have to do certain ways. Like
That's
you
why
were
you
saying.
need your clovers and iron.
Yeah, and they talk about offerings, little pools of the milk, and there was like, wait a minute, milk, honey, believe it or not, wine, ale, bread, cakes, fruit, cookies, and candy. They like sweets.
That honestly, I feel like I'm part fairy.
Oh, I know I'm part
favorite
fairy.
foods.
I know, right? They like shiny things. Some go, like when you miss something, place something, and you knew it was there. It's them being mischievous and hiding it, and then they'll bring it back because it's shiny and pretty, and they wanted it for a while.
We say that at work when we lose stuff, that the fairies just snatch it.
Exactly. I learned a lot that they like things like that. It says shiny things, some go missing, then turn up all of a sudden. And that's them being them. They like Celtic flute music.
Oh, I love that for them.
Real mellow wind chimes. They don't like things too loud.
No wonder they like cosmic.
Yeah.
I'm always playing that kind of music.
They're very picky about where they live, like you were saying. Unspoiled parts of nature they will be drawn to, and like your circle of like a tree stump or something that's circular. And I learned a lot that you don't want any disturbance. You don't want animals going by there. You don't want, if you were wanting to make a little house for them there, you know, and then you would have the little pool, you know, little dish for them to come and and give them their offerings and stuff to draw them in. And but I found a lot of other stuff of like just little things that I'm calling, you know, my intuition or a sign of something that's being delivered to me. A lot of that came out of these fairy tales that I noticed, like they're almost like a spirit, and they're guiding us through our journeys and our fate of our journeys. And I read that sometimes they are supposed to be trustworthy enough to send the proper messages to us, but because fairies are so mischievous, they tend to, oh, well, maybe I'll send them this way instead. Or they won't do it at all. Or they're just not in the, oh, yeah, I don't think I want to do it today. You know what I mean? So they're very mischievous, I hear. And they're not, in a lot of different folklore tales that I've read about, they perceive them all kind of differently, you know what I mean?
I like that.
Like I was saying, like signs and stuff like that, every once in a while, like when we were out at your house, just a bird flying over or something like that, or a bird will just fly up and chirp a little bit and everything. Well, they can go into those forms too. It's not, you know, those traditional fairy looks. They can be human, they can be animals. I read other stories about horses and foxes and wolves in another form, that in their different tales of what they perceived as fairies. And I thought it was funny, but the traditional gnome, you know, with the red hat and all, they were, what did I write? I wrote something about them, and I thought it was funny because they were horrible, apparently. No. And it's resonated in France. They're called gorgons. They hate Christianity. Say that right?
Christianity?
Yes.
They hate
and they're moral tricksters.
Ooh.
And you have to be on their good side or else, basically.
Or else.
That's what they said, or else. They are not. They thought of them not. Gorgons? I thought, what?
Sounds scary.
It's kind of, yeah, it did. And they sound scary, but now it's perceived as, oh, the now with the red hat and everything. That's where, but originally resonated from, and it's kind of funny how it's so cute now. In Scotland, always were drawn to the brownies, fairies. Ireland was, they called them sheep or people of the hills, and
that's scary.
Yeah, because they would lure you and take you. They would trick you or reward you whatever they thought, or they would take you to their spirit realm and you never went back.
Ooh.
I thought that was interesting. Yeah, they imprison them. They just depend on their mood. That's basically what it said.
Yeah.
Greece was the water nymphs.
Ooh.
They were more animals, like I was saying. They were more in thinking that animals were the form of the fairies. And
gotcha.
like in Midsummer's Dream movie, you know, or the Shakespeare, the book. Animals were in that, you know, they're part of it. Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
I love that.
Well, you know, crows also like shiny things too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Crows like shiny
I know. I just thought that was interesting. Oh, and I learned that in order to see the fairies, you need to open your third eye. Isn't that interesting that I have my eyes and everything, and I've always been drawn to fairies, and then my eyes. I don't know. It all kind of was interesting. Yeah, it was.
You're a fairy.
Or
you're a fairy.
I'm a fairy. But what I was saying, like with the, you know, when things happen to you and you think it's something being sent to you, just like even the pets can see fairies. They were saying if you see pets that suddenly exhibit happy, energetic behavior, there's probably chasing the fairy or playing with the fairies and running and jumping around with them. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, you know, when you have a fairy around is when the birds chirp. They'll perch nearby you, sing their song briefly, and then they'll fly away. That's supposedly a fairy coming in and making known of their presence, I guess. I
love that.
I guess
that kind of makes sense if they're like some kind of nature spirit also, that like the nature would like say hi and then leave something.
And I found it interesting too, because I like deal with, I mean, it's not just I see multiple numbers all the time, and I know they mean things, and some people say it's, you know, the angels, and then I don't know, they actually mention fairies kind of do the same thing. It's almost like that whole thought of our fate and our destiny that they say, and they're just sending messages and trying to guide us through our
I love that. I like thinking about that, and then how they're so, like, if it doesn't happen today, it's okay. Like, I'm just gonna do it when I want to. Or they just kind of do what they want, but then still, you know, do what they need to do to make it happen. I like that.
I just started realizing, just doing that research, I see those things already in my mind, of like signals and signs of some sort, numbers, multiple numbers, and all this other stuff. And I just found it interesting when I was researching about fairies. Well, they're kind of connected to a spiritual type thing that can help you in God. I found interesting that in China, when they passed, they would turn them into fairies if you, like, in imprisoning them for being bad people, like for all their sins. Here, you're going to be a fairy now, and when they die, they're and then those are the fairies that like to cause problems because they weren't very nice to begin with. So that's why they transformed them into that fairy. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it was to punish them for their sins, and then they turn around and they're the more likely the ones that enter and give us bad things, messages, and they're
the naughty fairies.
Yeah,
it's interesting because like my research said that they were like the purgatory angels in a way, because they were the angels that didn't go to heaven.
Well, they actually said stuff that I read too. They're in the middle. There's the angel in hell. They're this in the middle.
Yeah.
I just found
kind of like ghosts too.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, there's so many different people's opinions about, and when you're researching all that and you're finding out some of it happens to yourself, well, I believe, and my friend, she says she sees her fairy all the time. I mean, but it was a process though. And then when I was reading the third eye, opening your third eye, you're going to see probably things that you normally don't see.
Yeah, I believe that too.
I agree.
I didn't really go into it looking at it that way as something that could exist. But I believe in ghosts, so I feel like if there's a plane where these spirits are existing, why couldn't it be real? And yeah, something I want to try tapping into. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Me too.
What do you think, Rebecca?
I think like if like spirits are real, then maybe fairies are interpreted as spirits or something.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah, and that's kind of some of the stuff that I read. It was just like, well, what is telling me to go this way? Why does my gut keeps on saying go this way? Well, why wouldn't it be something that is sending to you to go, oh, well, you need to go this way because you need to go that way. The fate of you needs to go that. I don't know. It just kind of made me think a lot. So.
Ooh, theory. Fairies are ghosts. Ghosts are fairies. They're the same thing.
Yep.
And when you're seeing like a projection of a whole person, it's like a fairy, a human form. But then you can also see balls of light.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think we need to watch that movie.
Yeah, I think we need to watch the movie.
That guy is supposedly seeing him. I'm interested to see what that movie's like.
Yeah.
So are we agreeing that it's probably, I'm thinking not a conspiracy.
I don't think so.
What about like demons then? Like, because like fairies they sound pretty bad.
Oh, some of them were just nasty.
Well, there's bad people and good people. Bad people, when they're a fairy, they're still bad.
Maybe that's why the China interpreted it as, okay, you're dying. You died. You weren't a good person. You're gonna become this fairy now, and that's your punishment, basically. I mean, interesting stuff. Yeah.
But does this mean when I die I can become a fairy? Because if that's the option, I really like this.
I know, right? But it would sound like they turned him into a fairy because he sinned and wasn't good, and he becomes not so good even as the fairy too. Is bringing in the bad stuff into our spirits.
But are fairies just the people that are kind of trapped on the in-between? Or
yeah, that's what it seems like. It's that in-between line.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that I read was like that, it's like it's a spiritual thing in between,
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that they were good. I mean, it sounded like some of them believed to be just terrible, like the Gorgons.
Yeah, the gnomes.
Yeah, the gnomes.
So interesting.
And I didn't really know fairies were all in that category.
I didn't know that gnomes and trolls
and leprechauns,
I didn't know
giants,
they were all fairies.
They're all fae.
They're all fae.
They're
okay.
all fae. which I didn't know.
And changelings.
Changelings, yes. I didn't know about that until you brought.
Yeah,
That was a good one. That was a good one.
So I think
It wasn't very good, you know, the
It was
circumstance, but it's very interesting, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think like what you said, Morgan, about if the ghosts are real, then the fairies could be the ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, I don't know, like there's just a lot of parallels with like ghost beliefs and fairy
Spirit
beliefs.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
And they talked a lot about that spirit realm of the, you know, kind of in that middle.
Yeah. I mean, if everything is energy and it has to go somewhere when people die, maybe it's going to that astral realm that parallels ours, and I don't. Some people can just tune into that kind of stuff naturally, and I guess some people can learn to do that. But it's just really interesting.
Yeah. That's cool.
Oh, that was so interesting. Thank you guys.
Yeah, it was so
Thanks
good
for having me.
meeting